In December, Blanchard was granted his freedom from incarceration. Concerning the identity of the father of Gypsy Rose Blanchard's kid, questions have continued to circulate, and it is unlikely that they will be resolved for some time or another. Despite the fact that the Munchausen by proxy survivor has just been out of jail for a little over a year, she has already divorced her husband, reignited an old romantic relationship, and become pregnant. Onlookers, however, are curious about the identity of the child's father. Do they believe it was Gypsy Rose's husband, Ryan Scott Anderson, or her current boyfriend, Ken Erker? The marriage took place while Blanchard was still serving her 8-year jail sentence for the murder of her violent mother, Dee Dee Blanchard, in 2015 by her boyfriend at the time, Nick John. Bernhard married Anderson at this time. When authorities arrested her and John shortly after discovering her mother's death, the horrifying circumstances of the murder engulfed not only her hometown of Springfield, Missouri, which is approximately 165 miles southeast of Kansas City, but also the entire nation. Following her relocation to Louisiana with her husband, the convicted killer was granted parole and freed from jail in December. By the spring, she had severed her relationship with your spouse. She has been adamant that Erker is the father of her unborn child, and she has made an effort to put an end to any speculations that may have been circulating by publicly disclosing the date of her departure from Anderson. According to sources who spoke to TMZ on the condition of anonymity, Anderson has reportedly made the decision to postpone the request for a paternity test until after the kid has been delivered. The pragmatist came to the conclusion that it might be 5 or more times more expensive to perform a prenatal DNA test at this time as opposed to waiting until after one has been born. Nevertheless, according to the legislation of Louisiana, Anderson's name will be automatically included on the birth certificate in the event that the couple does not officially divorce prior to the birth of the child. The films that Blanchard and Erker have put on their social media accounts are a celebration of their pregnancy and the impending arrival of their child, and those who are skeptical will have to wait to find out more. As evidence, a sexy diary. During the time that she was still serving her sentence, the 33-year-old woman began dating Erker through a letter exchange. The two finally became engaged in 2018, but they decided to end their relationship the following year. The beginning of Blanchard and Anderson's relationship occurred during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, which means that their first face-to-face encounter did not take place until a year later. On July 21, 2022, the pair tied the knot in a private ceremony that took place inside the prison. According to her, she made the decision to end her relationship with Anderson, who is still her legal spouse, in March. However, she did not become pregnant until several weeks later after she had met with Erker in April and May. In the beginning of April, Erker's mother disclosed to people that the couple had not reconciled, despite the fact that they were seen getting tattoos that were identical to one another and going out on dates. Apparently, she was wrong about something. It was reported by the aforementioned publication that Blanchard provided evidence in the form of her sexual journal. Left Ryan March 23, had a period April 17, made love with Ken and only him April 27, 28, 29, 30, conceived on May 4 and positive test on May 24, Blanchard stated on the social media platform TikTok. The still surprising. Blanchard and her boyfriend at the time were involved in a plot to kill Blanchard's mother for the agony and suffering that Blanchard's mother had caused on Blanchard during her childhood. Blanchard's mother claimed that Blanchard's daughter suffered from a variety of terrible illnesses, including asthma, leukemia, muscular dystrophy, and other conditions. Blanchard was found to be a victim of her mother's Munchausen syndrome via proxy, according to the findings of the investigation, which was prompted by the fact that a few physicians informed the authorities about their concerns regarding her treatment. Blanchard and John were taken into custody 2 days after the body of her mother, which was already covered in stab wounds, was discovered by the police at their residence on June 14, 2015. Blanchard was convicted guilty of second-degree murder in 2015, despite the fact that the court acknowledged that her mother had subjected her to years of medical treatments and surgeries that were not necessary over the course of the trial. Nicholas "Nick" John, who was Blanchard's boyfriend at the time of Dee Dee's death, was also found guilty of his role in the murder and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for his involvement in the crime.